Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Midgard Golf. And we're back out here today, Pops and I, doing a two-ball shamble. And if you don't know what that is, that's where we share the drive as you would in a two-ball scramble, and then from there forth, we play our own ball until we get it in the hole. And whoever cards the best score, that's the one we scratch on the card. So anyway, playing one of the few courses that I have yet to play up to this date here out in Plumas County, sort of the greater Portola area, that being the Plumas Pines Golf Resort. Just an absolutely lovely place to come out here and play golf, especially if you want to really put your shot shaping abilities to the test, because this course will do just that for you. Yeah, you've got to shape them to the left and to the right, and on command all over the place. So, yep, good luck to you coming out here. Not an overly long course. We're playing the course from the whites, and that's one up from the tips. So what most people would know is the blues. And that's a 6,004 yardage that we're playing out here for the whole course. And it tips out at 64.21. So a pretty short course by all standards there. But again, pretty tight basically everywhere. So yeah, you really got to be playing pinpoint golf out here. So anyway, yeah, and if you haven't done so yet, we'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button down there on the video if you're liking this content, and smash that subscribe button, hit that little bell, because yeah, we're just about to, I think I need more, like 6 more subscribers from when I'm editing this content here to give away another Midgard Golf hat. And that's going to be a branded Bills hat, and I don't sell them. We only give them away, and only to winners of those hat drawings every 100 subscribers, and to people who are featured in a vlog with us. So a pretty rare hat it is indeed. And super high quality, that's for sure. I wear mine pretty much every time I go out and play, and it has yet to show any wear and tear on it. I mean, I've been wearing it for like 2 years now, and it's just awesome. So, anyway, on to the course, I think, now. Starting off strong here with a par 5, playing for us at 555 yards and tipping out at 581. And an extremely hard dogleg left here. And the dogleg shows up very early. So, yeah. I mean, if you want to hit the ball to where you can see it, then you're pretty much remanded to probably a long iron, maybe a mid iron for some big hitters out there, just because of how downhill this tee shot is. But you can take it over the trees over there off to the left if you can skyjack it enough and shave off a ton of this hole and get yourself in position to get on in 2. Or you can try to take the shape of the hole and hit kind of a big old swooping, I hate to say draw because it's more like a hook, in order to take the whole line here and just take that turn and end up in the fairway that way. If you're hitting the driver, that is. But yeah, if you don't hook it enough, then you're going to end up being in the tall tree line there off to the right side of the fairway as the dogleg turns you to the left there. And if you overcook it and send it too far to the left, you're going to be in some really nasty native fescue sort of lands out there in the brush with some trees amidst, and that ball is most likely gone. So anyway, pick your poison for that. No shame in 3-piece in this hole, that's for sure. You could probably take like an 8 iron and hit it 3 times to get up on this green. And in hindsight, that's probably what I should have done. But anyway, you'll see what happens anyhow. Yeah, emphasis on making it to the corner, though, that you can see right in front of you. Because if you don't, then you're going to be blocked out for your second shot and kind of have to sacrifice a shot just to find yourself with an angle to shoot on the green. So, yeah, make sure you make at least that yardage. Give yourself a laser rangefinder number, something like that, and, yeah, draw the correct club to make that corner there. Once you do make your way up to the green, you've got 2 bunkers, one front left, one front right, and they're guarding the sides of kind of a figure-8 shaped green. And, yeah, that's about all you have to worry about. So, without further ado, I got the driver in hand, and I'm just going to try to pound it down there over them trees off to the left and give ourselves a short shot up onto this green. Well, relatively so anyway. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do.
Hit it!
Oh, but almost nailed it. You hit that with some steam, huh?
Yeah. I obviously didn't need that much. Slide in there, baby. Yes! Nice par.
Yeah, I started with the sandy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so close. Sick. Alrighty. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the second hole. Just a little friendly par 4 for us here, playing for us at 356 yards and tipping out at 393. So, yeah, that said, incredibly narrow here, and there is no real stellar miss. I mean, to the left is absolute death, where you've got those tall, big, scraggly bushes that are going to swallow up your ball real quick, and then to the left of that is this little baby stream that you're going to become acquainted with as you get further down this hole here. So, yeah, left, bad. Right, if you miss too hard to the right, you'll probably find your ball, even if you carve it all the way out there into the number 1 fairway adjacent to this hole. However, you're going to be blocked out by some really tall trees and have to pull off some kind of a skyjack in order to make your approach on into the green. So, also pretty tough. And if you nuke it down there far enough, then there's some more this kind of patch of native tall bushy stuff past kind of the end of the trees there off to the right, which again will swallow up your ball too. So, I mean, to keep this one safe, you'd be really well served just to kind of lay up, maybe hit a little bit of a cut out there, and, you know, probably around 2 to 250, and give yourself about 100 to 100 and, 100 to 150 up onto this green. That's probably the best way to play this hole. But, yeah, and the further down you get this fairway here, that little stream I was talking about earlier is going to encroach its way more and more into the fairway from the left there. So, yeah, the bigger of a drive you hit, then kind of you got to squeeze it in this little corridor over there off to the right. Unless you've got the carry distance, probably around 330, 340 or something, to darn near drive this green. But, and just scream it straight over that creek over there off to the left. So, yeah, but guessing that not many of us have that kind of distance in conjunction with that flavor of accuracy, you're probably best served just to, hit a little fade over there off to the right. And then, hit that favorite 150-yard club or something up onto this green. Once you do get up to the green, you've got one bunker there, lateral left of the hole. And, you definitely want to miss right with the sideboard support that you have over there. But, so you shouldn't be going anywhere near that bunker. But if you do, then you'll be thinking your lucky stars that it's there. Otherwise, your ball might have otherwise trundled down into the creek over there off to the left anyway. So, I've got the 4-iron in hand. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. there's my ball. Right there.
Okay, cool. Oh, nice. One time. Go.
Get in.
All right. That's 5.
That's good. I'm out. I'd have to get up. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the third hole. And coincidentally, our first par 3 of the day here. Playing for us at 153 yards and tipping out at 191. Pretty healthy from way back there at the tips. So, anyway, glad we weren't playing back there today. We had basically no warm-up playing this round, Pops and I. We showed up, hit like maybe 8 shots on the range, and then just teed off. So, yeah, kind of got out here a little late with the traffic coming up here from Reno. But, yeah, it is what it is. Doing our best anyway. Anyhow, so this par 3 here, pretty friendly looking from the tee box, but as you look at it from the overhead view, it's actually not all that friendly here. So you've got that kind of seemingly sort of native stuff over there off to the front and right of the green there is actually a lake. So yeah, you've got water that covers sort of half the green to the front and right, and then wraps around the green to the right all the way to the back right, I should say. And then, so anywhere to the right here is absolute death. But if you send it a little too far, so probably a whole club too far to be fair, there's more water to the back left that you can't even see from the tee box here. So, I mean, it's a fairly water-surrounded green here, but there is some bailout. I mean, you don't really have to clear any water if you just attack the left side of the green there. And if you go just straight over the green, straight over the middle of it, there's a pretty fair amount of grass back there as well to catch your ball and give you the chance to chip back on, try to get up and down for your par. If you come up lateral with the green and to the left, then you'll also be safe too, so long as you get the distance right. So anyway, emphasis on the correct distance in the air on this hole, I should say. So with that, I've got the pitching wedge in hand. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are off to the fourth hole and our second and final par 5 for this first part of our 2-part series out here at Plumas Pines. So, enjoy it. And, of the two, this is probably the better scoring hole here. Playing for us at 468 yards and tipping out at 481. Very short par 4 by all accounts. That said, pretty intimidating tee shot here, I would say. Yeah, especially looking out from the tee box here with all the trees very narrowly to your left and right. You really got to start one on a straight line here on this hole. Otherwise, yeah, you're probably ricocheting against something and then having that ball come right back and square you up in the forehead. So, obviously, not wanting that. Yeah, you're playing pretty much either a straight draw or a straight cut off this hole here, or off this tee box. That said, it is a dogleg right, so of those two, a straight cut is absolutely preferred, but you don't want to cook it any more than like a 15-yard cut, I would say, from the furthest left line that you could have, because any more than that, and you're probably carving it a little too hard into the condos over there off to the right. And yeah, you're not going to want that, obviously. That said, if you're going the other direction, you're like, ooh, I don't want to end up breaking any windows. Let me just hit a draw and get it off to the left there. Well, repent, kind of, sort of. Because if you take that line and you overcook it to the left, then while it looks like you just have a nice big old tree line over there off to the left, and you do, but beyond that is that stream from the last two holes that continues on and pretty much follows this hole up the entire way. The Middle Fork Feather River, it is. So, anyway, that's the title of it as I'm looking at the overhead map right now. That's how I know. Anyway, so a good cut off of the tee box is absolutely preferred, and the fairway does get a bit wider the further down you go up until that dog leg, so feel free to grip it and rip it, especially if you're taking that cut shape, for sure. Once you get up there, if you do pull that off, then you'll have a pretty good chance of getting up on this green in two. And once you get up there, the only thing that you're going to have to worry about so far as beach trouble is concerned is one big old long bunker that pretty much encompasses the entire right side of this green. And then if you happen to scream one far too long or kind of hook one to the left, then you're either going to end up in some very thick trees and bushes, or even worse, in some water there beyond. So anyway, get the number right for your second shot. That's my best advice. So, driver in hand, I'm going to try to pull off that little cut. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. Yeah, get up there. Okay. Good par.
Right in the jaws.
Yeah. Good par.
You.
Let me see if I can clean up a tweeter.
It's pretty flat. It's probably just going to go a little bit right to left.
Yep.
It kind of drops off goes a little downhill about 5 feet out. You go over a little ridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Come on, come on. Good putt. Good putt. All right, easy 5.
Yep. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 5th hole and the number 1 handicap on the course. And that's pretty well earned, in my opinion, here. So, super narrow par 4 here. Playing for us at 362 yards and tipping out at 378. So, not all that long by all accounts, but oh boy, off the tee box here, you got nowhere to bail out to. I mean, you got housing to the right, you got housing to the left, and you've got a golf hole squeezed in between them here. So, yeah, I mean, you really have to hit a precise drive here. That said, there is kind of a pathway for either shape that you want to hit. If you want to go for a fade, you can kind of crawl up the right side of the left tree line and do that. Same thing with the draw, vice versa. On the right side, crawl up that one kind of big old tree over there off to the right and then pull it back in from there. And being as it is that the hole is a bit of a dog leg left, with the dog leg showing up pretty late in the hole, about 3/4 of the way down the hole, that draw shape is probably the preferred shape if you can pull it off. But if you overdraw it, then you could find yourself up in the fairway bunker off to the left side of the fairway, down there about where your drive is likely to land. So that's unfortunate. And if you hit that fade, same thing. You've got another fairway bunker kind of just before the dog leg over there off to the right side of the fairway. So anyway, yeah, unfortunate for trouble on both sides. Once you are making your way up to the green, you've got one more bunker to worry about that's kind of short and to the right of the green. And apart from that, you've got a huge amphitheater of trees to worry about as well that almost surround the entire green, apart from, the narrow corridor of clearing you have from the fairway leading up to the green there. So anyway, you got to hit 2 precise shots up on this hole. That's all I can say about it, and really be able to pick your poison and shape them correctly. So, without further ado, I'm trying to hit that draw shape, as that's predominantly how I'm missing these days. So let's see if I can pull off a good one and send it down there somewhere in this fairway without blocking myself out. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do.
Run it out. Keep going. Okay. Thank you. Get in. Get in. Oh. Well, good bogey, right? Damn it.
All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 6th hole here. Short little par 4 for us now. Playing for us at 297 yards and tipping out at just 315. So, yeah, friendly in terms of yardage, but another hotel hallway of a fairway with some just absolute field goal distance trees here, left and right, to hit between for your tee shot. So another intimidating tee shot here for you, that's for sure. And the fairway, yeah, I mean, not overly friendly, that's for sure. So it's dogleg left again. So you do definitely want a draw shape, and more of a straight draw than a push draw, as most people would like to play. Most people would consider that to be a true draw, right? Sort of a starting out to the right and then bringing it back into the left. But here, you could do that. But, yeah, if you push it too far out for your initial flight there, then you're going to end up at least catching some branches over there off to the tree line to the right. So that would be unfortunate. Anyway, or you could just play a straight one out there about 200 yards down and have yourself a 100-yard shot up onto this fairway. So that's probably the smartest thing to do. So for me, that would be like a 7-iron to get it out there and give myself that approach shot of that solid hundo. So anyway, yeah, I wouldn't really go for it on this hole. If you do decide to take driver out here and like go for the green stupidly, in my opinion, then you should know that even if you do pull off the most perfect driver draw of your life, then you've got sort of an encroachment of this giant lake that will play on both this hole and the next, that your ball will likely still end up in. And if you somehow miss that lake and curve it that far off to the left, then you're going to miss that green off to the left side anyway and be kind of having a weird little pitch shot up onto the screen, which shouldn't be too difficult. But to find that shape and actually put your ball there with a driver off this tee box, yeah, fat chance. So anyway, definite layup hole. That's what I'm saying. Faux show. Once you are making your way up to the green there, no bunkers to worry about, just that lake that I mentioned earlier that kind of covers the front right side of the green. And then you've got a little bit of a backboard support behind the green, and to the left of it, kind of some rolling knowledge there for you. And yeah, that's about it. So, oh, and the fairway there is a bunker that I suppose you could find yourself in if you kind of carve one off of the tee box here a little too far. That bunker does belong to the next hole, to the 7th hole, a little par 3 coming up here. But I suppose you could find yourself up in that if you happen to carve one a little bit too far off to the right and make that distance past the tree line anyway. So, anyhow, I indeed have that 7-iron in hand. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do. had this for bogey.
Got it, I would think, right? A little tiny bit right to left?
Yeah. Insane. Well, yeah. Okay. Right off the cup though. Just right at the six.
What's the matter with you?
All right, ladies and gents, and here we are off to the 7th hole and the second and final par 3 of our first part of this 2-part series out here at Plumas Pines in Grey Eagle, California. So, yeah, just a little friendly one here. 122 yards for us, tipping out at just 154 yards. So, pretty friendly, no matter where you're teeing off from. That said, I mean, there's kung fu treachery everywhere. You've got that bunker that I was talking about on the previous hole there off to the back right, and another one lateral left, and then forced carry basically the entire way due to that pond that's right in front of you there. So, yeah, I mean, you got to stick that number. But considering the yardage, shouldn't be that difficult for you. So, and it's a rather sizable and inviting green anyway. And just behind the green is a small bit of backboard support, especially the further to the right you go just over the green path. So, I have the 56-degree wedge in hand. Let's give it a rip and see what we can do.
Stay right there. So aim left, further left than that. Yeah. Aim left to that little mark.
Yep.
Come on.
Dive.
Look here. Back on the par train. If that was short. Alright, so next one will be big old dog right.
All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 8th hole here. Pretty friendly, probably the friendliest par 4 we've seen yet here. A little bit of a dog leg right here, actually a pretty sharp dog leg to the right, but playing for us at just 349 yards and tipping out at 396, so pretty modest, I would say, in terms of length. That said, finally, you don't have a whole lot of tree trouble to worry about, left and right. So far as your flight path is concerned, I should say. But so far as your landing area, left is definite death if you happen to miss hard in that direction, which you don't really want to anyway, right? Since the hole is a dogleg right, you do kind of want a bit of a cut on it. That said, though, you do have a big old lake that starts about 2/3 of the way down the fairway and follows the remainder of the hole the rest of the way, all the way up to the green. That said, doesn't really come all that close to the fairway, so as long as you kind of keep it more into the fairway, then you should be pretty safe from going in there. If you do favor the left side of the fairway anyway, then of course you've got those 2 fairway bunkers out there, and those are located pretty much right at the dog leg, or kind of just after the curve, so to speak. And then that's all the trouble that you have to worry about for the fairway here. Once you're making your approach shot, like I mentioned before, you're going to have that giant lake over there off to the right, and you'll also have this little pond that pretty much covers the entire front of the green as well. So while it's not an island green, pretty much all of your miss locations, at least to the right and short, are covered up by water. Also, a fair amount of your miss location to the short and left is covered up by some native nastiness as well. So your only option to really miss is long and a little bit to the right. You kind of get more room to miss to the right the deeper you go into the green, and a bit long and left, or just long and middle of the green. Yeah, you can miss that way too, and you'll be just fine. If you do go really long and left, like to the back of the green and left, then you've got this awkward green side bunker back there to deal with. So, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to flirt with that either. However, if you do get up into that, then it's not a terribly like deep green side bunker to get up out of. So you'll probably be okay to try to make your sandy out of that anyhow. So, yep, I have the 4-iron in hand, and as I'm missing predominantly to the left these days, especially with my irons, I am going for the draw line just up the cart path kind of line there off to the right, and then pulling it on in from there. So, let's give it a rip and see what we can do.
Cut it a little thin.
Yeah. Get in. Nice. I'm out of this one. All right, ladies and gents, and here we are heading off to the 9th hole. And of course, the final hole for this first part of our 2-part series out here at Plumas Pines Golf Resort in Grey Eagle, California. So thank you so much for joining us for another episode here at Midgard Golf. And I sincerely hope you join us next week for the back 9 on this course because, yeah, it offers up some pretty interesting and just cool looking holes. So, yeah. You're not going to want to miss that, especially if you're digging this course so far. That's for sure. And also, of course, if you haven't done so already, please smash that like and subscribe button. Put us over 300, man, subscribers. Just 6 more from when I'm editing this content here. And I'm giving away another hat. And I would love to do so sooner rather than later. So, anyhow, on to this last hole here. Pretty much the most inviting fairway that we've seen so far. I mean, you've got a football field width of a fairway here to play with, so about as grip it and rip it as you can possibly ask for. And you've got that tree line over there off to the right, but that gets less scary the further down you get, and it runs out a good probably 130 yards shy of the green. So, I mean, the further down you go, the friendlier this hole gets. So, if you've got some heat in you, this is the time to just let her rip. The line that I'm saying is best is kind of that little tree that you can see right there off into the fairway, the one that's kind of turning red right now. Yeah, if you can pump it straight over that, that's going to be the A1 shot for you for sure. So far as shape, I mean, look at it. You know, you can hit any shape that you want. You can hit a big old draw over the right line, fade over the left line, not a problem. The hole does cant slightly to the right, so if you're kind of in between the two shapes and you're looking for one to pick and you can do both comfortably, then I would say a fade is probably a better shape to take, just because if you happen to overcook a draw and you go somehow to the left of this massive fairway, then of course there is that nastiness over there off to the left that you shouldn't have to worry about, but just in case you happen to hook one every once in a while, then yeah, why worry about going over there if you can hit a fade just as well. Once you are making your approach to the green, and this is where it kind of gets tricky, because the further you do hit it down this fairway, while it's more inviting so far as the left or right miss allowance, you're going to be hitting more vertically uphill to attack this green as it climbs very steep up to the green the rest of the way once you get about 4/5 of the way down the hole there. So, yeah, you've got that to consider as well, so far as having to skyjack one and then just slam it straight down on the green with like almost a vertical attack angle, you know, from the air. Or if you kind of want to hit one up there nicely, as you normally would for any other given golf shot, and then maybe you'd want to hang back a little bit into the widest part of the fairway and then put an easy shot up like that. So, pick your poison. Once you do get up to the green there, you've got one green side bunker there off to the right, and that's all you're worried about. Off to the back, you've got a huge amount of backboard support, so if you do happen to take a club long, especially considering how uphill the approach shot will be at this green, no worries. It is very likely that that hill will catch your ball and you'll be just fine. You're just going to have a really awkward kind of downhill chip to come back at this green from up top there. So, but you'll be able to find your ball. So anyway, let's give it a rip and see what we can do. I've got driver in hand, and I'm just going to try to smash this bad boy as hard as I possibly can. And yeah, I hope to see you next week, as I said before. And as always, I hope that all of you have an absolutely wonderful day.
There you go. Run it out. Good enough. See, I was right up against the collar.
Yeah. Tough shot.
Get that shit farther away now.
Yeah.
Oh!
Good putt. Yeah. Good putt. Good bogey.
Get up here.
Upkiller.
Alright, well, it's 5. Damn.